All right, it is July 24th, another beautiful sunny day. Well, it's kind of cloudy today in the great state of Ohio. And I did a video yesterday, but it timed out after about 5 minutes because of the storage on my phone. And it was kind of rambly anyway. But the point of it was about people in relationships and the importance of people in relationships. Just in general, like I was going to say in the modern world, but overall time, how families and friendships are truly, it's like the importance of them has been forgotten. And where I kind of took the video last time was I was comparing the mentality of wanting to be self-centered versus wanting to be involved and to sacrifice some of what you want for what other people want in this life, and how it actually leads to a better life, a happier life, a more connected life. And just to go over the trajectory of my own life, I was a huge loner for basically my entire childhood, the beginning of my adulthood after, I joined the military. Even then, I always kind of hung with the outcast kids, and the relationships were never really maintained. I did have like a long-term girlfriend throughout high school, and I don't really have very many long-term friends from childhood, or any at all, really. But it's because I was more concerned with the things that I wanted for myself and my standards, and I did not want to sacrifice my solitude and my alone time and my peace for the stress of other people. And I think your ability to do that is actually a strength. And I'm not saying to light yourself on fire to keep others warm. And I'm certainly not saying you don't get to choose who you sacrifice for. But the more capable you are to sacrifice, the more patience you'll have for other people. And then the more opportunities you'll be able to get from other people. And I am also not saying to just use people to extract them for whatever opportunities they can give you and whatever good things they can present to you. You don't just sacrifice for people to see what you can get out of them, but really just do it to be helpful, to be kind. And in America, it really seems like everyone is playing their own little choose-your-own-adventure story, and that's kind of what's sold to us in this life. Is you can do anything, be anything, go to any city that you want, only associate with people who agree with you on everything. The internet will feed back to you, probably not even real people. The internet will put you on a social media app and then put you in a group of other people that are also being fed by bots and AI. There are, things that agree with them. All journalism is just AI. Even, the journalists, they're trained to find other headlines, use the keywords from other headlines, and then put all those words in a couple paragraphs. And it's just regurgitated over and over and over again. And if you are using the conveniences of the modern world to surround yourselves with people who do that, then you are really just prolonging your childhood. You are not growing as a person, and you're not really an adult. You're not really useful to other people. First and foremost, once your life is in order, you should be then seeing what you should do for other people. And my life isn't really in order as much as I'd like it to be, but my focus is still on what can I do for my wife, how can I set my children up for success in the future. And then on the days where I could indulge myself with just rest and relaxation, what is an extra thing that I can do to make the world more beautiful for others, to give others hope, to give people inspiration? That's where your mind should be. And when it's like that, you never get bored. You never really get depressed. When you're alone and you're just trying to think how many resources can I acquire for myself so that I can survive in my little bunker away from the rest of the world, that's going to make you miserable. Even if you are on a pile of gold like a dragon. You want to have a storyline. And like I said, I don't have very many childhood friends, or any childhood friends. Nobody that I speak to is from before when I joined the military. Even my family, I don't really talk to anymore. And I definitely want the opposite for my children. I want them to meet people today. You know, my oldest is not even 2 years old yet. I want them to still be hanging out with the same babies that they're hanging out with now, my friends' little babies, you know, in 20 years, in 50 years. And I want their children to hang out with each other. And I want them to know, like, yeah, no, we're in this story together. This is the narrative of our life. And it's not just, you know, everyone's agreeing with each other and it's a virtual world where no one ever gets their feelings hurt. You know, that's not real life. That's not even fun. And I know a lot of people seem to want that. And, you know, I'm not going to tell you what to do. Like, if that is what you want, but it seems like what people are doing, like, there's all these video games with character customization, and people are, like, so not happy with their bodies and not happy with their own faces, and then they try to modify themselves. And, like, don't get me wrong, there's, like, girls out there that just love zany outfits. Like, my wife is one of them, where she just loves, like, wacky Magic School Bus Miss Frizzle dresses and clothes and earrings and accessories and stuff, and she's known for her silly accessories and outfits and stuff. And that's fine, but think about who you are and what your purpose is and what you have to offer the people around you. And you don't have to be strong, you don't have to be smart, you don't have to be wealthy, you don't have to be beautiful, to just be kind and patient to other people. And your brothers and sisters and then your children are the people that you have the best bet of them actually wanting to return the favor of having a good relationship. And I know, like, brothers and sisters bicker, and, you know, parents get frustrated with their children, and then children grow up to be teenagers and get frustrated with their parents. But these, like, mandatory relationships where you all come from each other and are so closely related to each other, that's your best opportunity to have somebody in your life that sticks it out with you, who you can, like, start a business with, or live together with, or start a farm with, you know, grow a garden together. Or, like, you get a dog as kids, and then that's your family dog, and you share the story of that dog's life in your lives. You share the story of your brother's life in your life. The more time and effort that, I don't know, there's just, like, so much more potential for beautiful things to happen if you're not thinking of, like, oh, this person annoys me, oh, you know, I can't stand how they, like, the fork clicks against their teeth, or how they stir their tea in the morning. Like, those things are not worth complaining about. And it's not worth, like, going and living in a tiny dark studio apartment with your laptop and your little mini fridge just so that you can get away from everyone in your family, or just in the world, really, you know? Like, and I've lived in cities, I've lived in the country, but cities are full of just all these, like, customizable characters who are trying to distance themselves from their parents and their family, and they're trying to find another little group of people in the same subculture so that they can, you know, be around like-minded people. But they all, like, hate each other, and they're all, like, just narcissists and self-indulgent. They don't actually, like, work for any of the causes they claim to be about. That's, like, the new thing for the last, like, 10 years or so. Is it used to be you're defined by what you do and what you make, and then you were defined by, you know, kind of what your job is, where you do stuff and make stuff, but it's not really, like, from your own home or to your own community. It's to, like, the world and a global scale that you don't ever really interact with, and your name is never on anything, and whoever is using the products knows nothing about you as a person. And then it became you're defined by what you consume, and that's kind of the era that I grew up in. At the end of that, and it was like, you know, you're defined by the music that you like and the clothes that you wear. And to express yourself, you went out and you get a bunch of stuff made by other people that you don't know anything about, from, you know, India and Pakistan and China, and, you know, all of these, like, sweatshops. And then you're like, this defines me, like, this color and this clothing and this style. It speaks to who I am, and I hope that it speaks to you when you're looking at me and trying to decide who I am and what my morals are and what my values are. And now the youth and a lot of people my age define themselves by what they're outraged by and what they're upset by. And, they're like, oh, this is happening, this terrible thing is happening, and I'm so upset. And, my life has nothing to do with that, and I really am powerless to change anything about this thing, this atrocity that's far, far away, or even right in my own neighborhood, but, I just do nothing about it constantly. We're all just like trapped in these little loops where we have our screens right in front of our faces, and we're in this world interfacing with nothing, interfacing with not real people, just like lights and colors on a screen and sound. And it makes you believe that whatever, it's so close to you, it's in your pocket, and then it's right in front of your face, and you're like, oh, your body can't tell that that's not happening right to you all the time. And so you tell your family, like, oh, it's not important, the cookies that you baked, it's not important about my nephew's baseball game, and it's not, what's important is this horrible thing that we should all, just talk about how horrible it is all the time, and then hope that somebody else does something to change it. It's like insane. And like, what kind of life is that? Like, how long do you want to spend doing that before you're old and just miserable? Like, I'm concerned with my garden. I'm concerned with how my children are feeling. I want to know that they're healthy and safe, and that they're probably going to go through these same stages where they like try to identify themselves by things they want me to buy for them, and then they learn about like some bad things in the world, and then they feel like outraged, and they're like, how could this happen in this world where my mom and dad love me and everything is like, I experience love and I believe in love and kindness, and yet these people on the other side of the world, very bad things are happening. And I just want them to know, like, focus on your own life. Focus on the people around you. First, maybe as like a young adult, you got to find what makes you happy. You got to find what you enjoy and see if you can turn that into something that's valuable to other people. And it's okay to focus on yourself and what you want to do as a young adult. But get your bearings, get your income together, get your wherever you sleep and keep your stuff together and stable, and then go out and try to help other people. Try to find other people who want to do the same thing. Like, that's few and far between probably, but like search that out, like live that adventure. And then when you find somebody else that wants to do good for the world, cherish that person, keep them close. If they have plans, help them with their plans, tell them your plans, ask them to help you with your plans, and have like a symbiotic relationship, In theory, that's like what an army is supposed to be, like a group of men who are willing to go to extreme lengths to like do something good and build a better world. And if they have to like destroy their enemies to do so, that's what everyone like has ideally in their hearts and their minds of what like a warrior is, like a noble warrior. But we all just role play. Everyone is just, I don't want to say it, everyone is a faker, and like I'm the only real boy in the world. But like, I don't pretend to care about the things I can't control. I don't get upset about things I'm not even sure about. Like, that's just a waste of energy. I'm concerned about like how my life is going to unfold. I'm concerned about my compost pile breaking down so that I can have healthy, nutritious soil for the produce that I'm going to grow. I'm worried about like worms on my tomatoes so that I can make pasta sauce so that I can have like a spaghetti dinner in the winter, even though it's July. Like, that's where my head is at. Just love people and be good to people, You're not going to find yourself like just doing all of this stuff that other people, like being so disillusioned with other people and yet depending entirely on them, people that you've never met. And it's crazy to think like, oh, I'm going to disown my family over this or that, because I don't like the way they chew, or stir their tea in the morning. And so I'm going to run away to live in an apartment built by a guy and turn on my lights made by electricity by a guy that I'll never meet, and then eat food that was heated up in a microwave made by somebody in China, and the food was packaged by, somebody and then flown on a plane by somebody else, and all these people that you don't have any direct interaction with. You say like, oh, I'm going to lean on all of them so that I can get away from you. Like, it's just nonsense. It's not efficient. It's not even worth it. I mean, it might be worth it to some people. Obviously, it's worth it to a lot of people who just want to live in a city and role play. And that's just the world. That's just like the state of the world that we're in right now. I don't even know if I'll post this one. I think it might be too intense. People and relationships. People and relationships are good. It's good to start a band. It's good to start a book club or a gardening club. It's like beautiful. And yeah, every single person that you meet, there's going to be things that you don't like about them. I could find something wrong with everything if I wanted to. It's actually easy, but it's almost like the weaker path. It's like the low effort path. To just always find something wrong and to always complain, Like, I was just thinking today, what a shame to go to work on such a beautiful day, and that's how it's been this whole week. It's like I wake up, I work night shift or evening shift. So it's like I wake up, I woke up around 9 today. Sometimes I sleep in a little bit later, and it's still cool in the morning because we live up north. Even in the summer, there's like a nice cool breeze, and all I want to do is like skate to the beer store and then like drink a beer on the porch and play the guitar and look at the garden. It's like, all the work for it has been done. Like, it could probably use some weeding, but it's just beautiful outside. And it's like, no, I got to go to an industrial environment and do a bunch of stuff that's kind of stressful and kind of difficult. Luckily, I'm kind of getting the hang of it more. But just while it's beautiful outside, like, that's nuts. Like, I'd rather be skating around my little town in Ohio where I don't even really know anybody and meeting people and being like, hello, isn't it just beautiful to be alive? But that doesn't secure a good future for my children, as nice as it would be. I'll end on this note. And this is something that I still do, and it used to be this game that I would play that nobody really knew. I would play with everybody that I talk to, and nobody really knows that I'm playing it. And it's called I'll Tell You the Most Interesting Specific Thing That I Know That you would be the most interested in if you can tell me the most interesting and specific thing that you know that I would be interested in. And that's how I look at all the conversations I have. It's like, there's some nugget inside this person of information or a joke or a story or like just a fact or something that they've learned that's probably very valuable to me. But we all are on the surface level when we first meet somebody, and it's like, if you can just get to it, like, it's like all of the questions you ask somebody, it's like you're mining for that interesting specific thing. And sometimes you get it out of a person pretty quick, and it's like awesome, like now you're like lit up in my mind as like one of the people that I've met who's told me something interesting. And then sometimes it's like a gold mine. Like, they tell you, oh yeah, I actually studied in Japan to learn how to build soil for 8 years. Like something crazy. And you're like, okay, so we're going to need to have several very long conversations then, obviously. And it's like, yeah, like that's more like, I look at nature being much more beautiful than the city most of the time. And that's like more beautiful than nature, is meeting somebody that has a gold mine of information and they're willing to like talk to you face to face. Like, you better have your life together to allow that to happen. You better have a hot pot of coffee ready, made, in case that person walks through your door, and welcome it. Always be welcoming to it and ready to receive it so that you have a good chance of it happening, because it will really change your life. And that's it.